Welcome back to Stories from the River. I'm Heather Greenwood, filling in for Charlie Maloof, and I am super excited to be here today with three incredible people to talk about one of the best ways, in my opinion, that we recognize our memory makers, Project Premier. So I have three amazing guests with me today, Brian, Sarah, and Emelyne. Welcome to the pod. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Absolutely. So excited to spend time with you all. Thank you for traveling in from near and far to join me today and really just talk about something that's unique to Broad River, the way we love our memory makers, how we celebrate them, and these different kind of touch points that we've put in place over the years to give back and to just shout people out when they're caught doing it right.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
So to get us started, Emelyne often sits across the table from me in that seat, but let's get to know each one of you. So we'll do some introductions for our audience at home. Your name, what you do at Broad River Retail, how long you've worked there, and something that the audience needs to know about you. This can be a fun fact. This can be anything that you guys want. So I'll give you like a second to simmer on that.
Okay.
I know I went off script. So Emelyne, we'll start with you.
Oh my goodness. I didn't think of a fun fact. I'm Emelyne Henderson. I work on the Memory Maker Experience team at Broad River, and I've been here for 5 years. Something to know about me. I work with Project Premier, which is one of the favorite parts of my job. And something unique, I think, about me is I really, really love my job. And I wish more people could say that. And I hope that a lot of people at Broad River can say that. But I love what I get to do every day.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Sarah?
Hi, I am Sarah Sanchez. I'm the Senior Analyst for our Operational Excellence Department. I've been with Broad River for 12 and a half years. And a fun fact about me, I love being outside with green things, plants, trees, flowers, bushes, it doesn't matter. That's my happy place.
I love it. And a perfect time of year for that right now. I love it. The sun is out. You're feeling good. Okay,
Absolutely.
Brian, introduce yourself.
I'm Brian Fuller. I am a home furnishing expert and sales manager, VIP. Let me see. I've been with the company going on 5 years now. And a fun fact, let me see. I got a couple to choose from. But I'm going to go with something. I try to read 2 hours every day.
Oh, wow.
That's something I take very seriously. Other than that, man, I love what I do. I love putting a smile on my employees and customers' face.
I love that. Well, you guys, thank you for joining me today. So excited for each one of you to talk a little bit about this program and why it's important and why it brings smiles to people's faces. So, Emelyne, especially for those that don't work at Broad River listening, what is Project Premier and kind of how was this recognition program born? Where did it come from?
Yeah, so Project Premier is our enterprise-wide celebration and recognition program at Broad River. So it basically consists of memory makers sharing shout-outs for other memory makers. And really, you can't talk about Project Premier without talking about Stacy McCormick. So Stacy McCormick, our Senior VP of Retail Performance, he actually had this idea really in the heart of COVID. So probably in April of 2020, so right after when, we had a lot of people on furlough, we had a lot of memory makers working in different stores and different locations doing different jobs than they usually would, just to make sure that Broad River remained, successfully running. And so he really thought, what can we do to make sure that those little moments aren't missed and that we're celebrating and recognizing everything that everyone's doing every day. And so it started with retail and now has grown to be enterprise-wide. And what I really love about Project Premier is it's very peer-oriented. So you get recognition from your manager, or hopefully you do, some appreciation from them often. But how often do you get your peers to be able to say, I'm really appreciative of you, or you've done a good job? Right. So We do like a monthly update, and then we also have Premier Stars that are selected every month. And Premier Stars win some cool prizes.
Yes, they do. I think we'll hear about that a little bit later. I think the great thing about Project Premier, the day Stacy called me and gave me this idea, was truly a dark time, right? People were going to work scared. I know for me, I was working from home, and I'm just not built to work from home. So even when he called me that day and say, hey, Heather, what do you think about this program? And I think that was kind of the first time during COVID that I was like, yes, I'm excited to do something. It'll give me some purpose. It'll allow me to support other people and feel good when I feel really disconnected and really far away and not a natural feeling. So it's exciting to see kind of where it was born during a very dark time and where it's grown to just be this positive light that shines back on our memory makers. We talk all the time about how much our memory makers do and how hard they work. And so certainly the more we can shout them out, the better. So we started in COVID. We started retail. Now it's enterprise. It's grown. It's changed. And year over year, Emelyne, you've really gone after how do we elevate, if you will? How do we grow the program? So how have we grown and developed to where we are today, 2024?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to look back at what it was. So it really started in retail as a weekly email with some shout outs in the email and just some recognition there. We kind of started playing with Premier Stars at the time as well. And when we took it to enterprise, at one point, the emails just got so long that we had to find a different way to do it. So we were doing monthly emails with shout outs, but we kind of thought, how do we take it and centralize it? And so we moved it onto our internal site, The Currents. And so now it's kind of like a hub where people can go and see shout outs and nominations. We still do a monthly email featuring the Premier Stars, but that was kind of our first big move, was going there, and then also implementing some really great prizes. So the first year we did it, we did a lot of recognition and celebration, but then we thought, how can we make this a little bit better? And so in, I think, 2021, we started doing some branded swag, some gifts and prizes for our Premier Stars that were recognized. And then in 2023, really thinking about how do we continue to elevate this program. I mentioned it's really peer-led, all of the shout-outs and nominations. And so when thinking through selecting the Premier Stars, we really wanted that to come from a committee of your peers. So in 2023, we developed a Project Premier Partner Committee, which Sarah and Brian both sit on. So they did in 2023 and still into 2024. And so that has been probably the most impactful part of Project Premier, I think. Would be the last 2 years, is just not only do they meet each month and select our Premier Stars, but we also talk about different ways that we can recognize and celebrate memory makers at Broad River and make sure that they feel valued and seen and appreciated.
Awesome. Well, Brian and Sarah, we're going to hear a little bit from you guys. So you're on the Project Premier Committee. Tell us a little bit, what is this committee? What do you guys do when you meet? What is it like being a part of the Project Premier Committee? Sarah, we'll start with you.
In 2023, when we started the Project Premier Committee, at that point in time, it was really about just establishing it, communicating with each other, getting all on the same page, getting to know people across the enterprise who were on the committee, and obviously voting for the Premier Stars of the month. And then towards the end of 2023 is when we had our huge in-person meeting, and we were able to spend all day coming up with our strategy, our vision, and our objectives that we wanted to be able to accomplish. And that, I think it was the best meeting that we had, because we were able to build and establish those plans and those guidelines for how we wanted to continue to see it grow, because we all just spent almost a year together. And so we wanted to build something further out.
Fantastic. Brian?
When it comes to us getting together and collaborating as a team, that's one of the most important parts, because we are able to sit down and discuss and generate different ideas and come up with different things that we need to do or that we should do to make sure that, like you said, everybody is seen and valued and celebrated. I mean, to me, that's one of the most important things. And being able to bounce ideas off each other and come up with different things. That's the fun part about it, especially being that we are all across the board, different departments. So it's great working together as a team to come up with different ideas.
I love it. It sounds like a great time. I can already see as you guys talk today kind of how that chemistry has built and you guys feel very comfortable in that setting to kind of talk about how can you further the impact. So we at Broad River talk a lot about this memory maker experience or the culture. How do you think Project Premier has impacted the culture and the memory maker experience at Broad River?
I think it's doing a great job right now. And actually, we haven't even reached our full potential yet because everybody loves to feel valued and celebrated. I mean, we can think back to when we was young in elementary school when the teacher showcased us in front of the class, basically called us out, recognized us in front of the class. That feeling that we got back then, endorphins, basically, that good feeling. And it really makes the memory maker or whoever want to do more just to be celebrated even more.
Yeah, it's only improved the culture. Because it's one thing for your management or your leadership to recognize you, but it's something different when it's the people in the trenches with you of your everyday role. And there's a lot of aspects to everybody's jobs that just go unseen. They're behind the scenes. So to have somebody who knows what all those little pieces are to be able to say, hey, you did good at this. It feels really nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It feels good to be noticed. You know, we think about this is built off this foundation of just catching somebody doing something right. So these stories aren't always like, oh my gosh, she saved 5 kittens from the tree. No, she helped a peer in need. She smiled. She did something to make someone else feel good. And it's someone else noticing that small act. You know, Brian, you talk about when we were kids. My son was Student of the Week recently. And he was so proud when he came home with this, like, they have a hat that they get to wear, like that hat and the way he carried himself that day. His teacher recognized him as Student of the Week. And we've tried to cultivate this at Broad River with this Premier Star. You're the Premier Star of the month. And so what does that feel like? Somebody noticed you. And hopefully it wasn't your leader. Hopefully it was someone else. So how do you guys think your roles on the committee and just your roles as leaders in our company, how have your roles impacted how we celebrate people at Broad River?
Well, we select the Premier Stars of the Month that get
Big deal.
celebrated.
That's a big
the
deal.
biggest one. But I know, going back to speaking of like the objectives that we came up with, I am in charge, head of one of the objectives, which is data utilization. So one thing we want to see is how many shout outs are coming in across departments. So it's somebody from retail shouting out supply chain or customer experience shouting out operations, whatever. How many are within the departments? How often do they come in? What is a comfortable time for people to send them in? Just so that we can dial in a little bit more and to make it even that much more accessible to everybody.
Absolutely. And that's going to be great because we'll be able to see exactly where we need to focus on and what needs to be done. But other than that, like I said, us basically being able to collaborate and come up with different things, I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, because there's so many different ideas, so many different inventive ways that we can celebrate our memory makers.
I would say, too, since having the committee in place, the program's just talked about more. It's someone from every department. And so you see it in the amount of nominations we get from our operations team, who typically doesn't have a laptop all the time on hand. So they don't get all the emails we send. So then figuring out creative ways to make sure we're communicating with them. And Sarah and I have worked on that. And so I think just the awareness of the program, and one of our objectives was to be on this podcast to raise awareness for it. So kind of living that out too today. Yeah.
I love it. You know, we have this thought process that every memory maker at Broad River should know about Project Premier. You know, I'm sure you guys get the question. I hear it all the time, like, can I nominate someone? Yes. Anyone can nominate anyone. And that's the beauty of this program. There's no rules. There's no boundaries. Shout it out. Tell somebody. And that's the awareness we're trying to spread. So, Sarah, not to put you on the spot, but not only do you sit on the Project Premier committee, but prior to that, you were actually a Premier Star of the Month.
I was.
So tell us a little bit about that. How did that make you feel? What was it like going through the process on the other side?
Well, in the moment when the emails started coming in, because you actually initiated the first one and put a lot of people on it, it was very overwhelming. And then I started like blushing and sweating in my own home. It was wild. But once it kind of processed, it was really awesome because we had just done the Global Leadership Summit. And so it was all of the different departments kind of coming together to share what they had learned. And operations worked really hard to come up with an idea or a concept or themes to be able to continue to take on. And that was recognized. And it wasn't just me, it was ops that was doing that, but it was really nice.
I think about that meeting and that comment that I made. And Sarah, I remember on that debrief, you talking about the learnings that you and your team had from Global Leadership Summit. And you were just radiating all these, the impact it made on you and how you were going to take the impact it made on you and what you were going to do every day in your department to impact memory makers. And so to see that, and I know you do that all the time. You are a student and you take what you learn and you take it back and you spread it across operations, which is why you're so successful. But it's really exciting to see that kind of grow and become a premier star. And now to be on the committee and for you to share kind of what that feels like with your peers and hopefully spread that for many, many years at Broad River.
Absolutely.
So, Emelyne, kind of when we look at today, and I know you alluded to it a little bit earlier, but what does that celebration look like? You become a premier star. It is a little bit overwhelming, quite possibly. What does it look and feel like?
Right. So for Project Premier, we do share all of the shout outs we receive, but for those premier stars, they get a special dedicated email with their photo and their shout out and a little bit about them. And then we send them an email along with some prizes. So our premier stars get an extra day of PTO to use that year. They get an extra furniture discount, an extended employee discount for a year. And then they get some other cool prizes. I think Shara chose the outdoor chair, like the hammock chair.
Yeah, the hammock
umbrella
chair.
Yeah, so we always try to do like an outdoors gift and then some type of like reading or coffee choice that you can make because that's typically what people will go towards. But some prize or gift for that moment and then some branded swag. So they get typically a sweatshirt that says Premier Star of the Month on it so that they can wear it and really like be proud of that and wear it out to Broad River. So, yeah.
In your own words, you guys, as you think on this program, whether if you're somebody being shouted out, if you're somebody who's on the committee, what does this program mean to you all? And why do you think it's so special? So, Brian, I'll start with you.
It means a lot to me, especially be able to be a part of it with being able to come together and really choose, help make decisions. To best celebrate a memory maker, that's a great thing to me because I know I could imagine a feeling like, say for instance, we don't know what type of day someone may be having, but to be chosen, it can actually change someone's life because it's not only just a good feeling at work, that also transcends and they take it home. So it's a good feeling, it's a good place, a good space for them in life to be celebrated here by their peers. And I know how great that's gonna feel.
You know, Charlie always talks about the ripple effect.
Absolutely.
Emelyne and I have this conversation a lot.
The
ripple effect of how you feel in that moment and how that spreads to others, your friends, your family, your peers, your community. And so we like to think maybe we play a little part in that. And maybe that moment will do that for you. And to think about changing someone's life, there's a lot of power in that thought. And we hope that programs like Project Premier and others do change people's life. So super well said. Thank you, Brian. Sarah, what about for you?
For me, one of my favorite aspects is not only connecting with the team from all over the enterprise, but it's seeing people that I've worked with over my several years with Broad River just kind of come back around and be recognized because, 5 years ago they were amazing, but I don't work with them now. And to see that they're still amazing is fantastic.
Yeah.
Beam and wave.
Oh,
you're doing good.
I love that. Full circle. Emelyne,
circle.
what about you?
I was going to say kind of the ripple effect, same thing as you and Brian a little bit, but someone who's actually new to our committee this year, Jalen Fisher, he mentioned on our last meeting, he was like, I didn't know much about the program until I was recognized as a Premier Star and I saw my nomination. And now I frequently do it and recognize someone because I know how it felt on that end. And so just him saying that, like, you know, that made me realize just how it ripples throughout Broad River too, and how someone was impacted by it and then wanted to go and do it and make others feel that way. So I think it just continues to make us all better as individuals and an organization when we show that gratitude and appreciation for each other.
Now, if someone's listening who works at Broad River Retail, what do they do? How do they participate in this program? If they're listening to this for the first time and they're like, I don't even know what that is, or hopefully they're not thinking that, but if they are, how do they participate?
Good question. So we have an email alias, so projectpremier@shopashley.com. And you can send a shout out to that email, and that's where we'll collect them all. Or we also have a SurveyMonkey link. So we have QR codes posted throughout the building that you can scan and leave one that way if you're on your phone or mobile device, and it's just easier for you to do it that way.
I love it. And again, anyone can participate, right? So anyone can nominate anyone. So we're going to do some live Project Premier shout outs on the air to give you guys a feel for what does this look and feel like.
Yeah.
So live on the air, we're going to give some shout outs. Sarah, you go first.
All right. My shout out is for Lindsay Shelby, our HRIS analyst in human capital. I wrote this down because she's so fantastic. Lindsay is an amazing partner for operational excellence. I'm assuming the rest of the company too. She's helped us solve for a suggestion box issue with operations, which is we want if somebody notices an issue with the process, then, or it could be updated or something new could be implemented. She helped us solve for that solution. That's something we've been looking at for like a year. Also, change management. As we update these processes that have been identified by our wonderful memory makers, we have to let people know that the process has changed. So we've been able to do that with these Paycom acknowledgement forms. And so she's handling that for us. She's a true asset, and she's helped us to be able to strengthen our foothold in operations and carry it upwards.
Fantastic. Lots of love out to Lindsay. Thank you for all you do. Brian, who are you shouting out today?
Man, it's a whole lot of people I could. Everybody in the company. And actually, I have three. I want to say the two top ones. Frank Gaston, of course. That's been at the top of the charts every year I've been here. And Adrian Considine, right there behind them. I mean, they set the bar. I mean, they set the bar year after year. And I just want to say it's not going unacknowledged. But I have one other, Coda Bennett. That's my guy, man. Coda is the sales manager over at the Ogden location. And I can remember him coming to me at the gala, and he was like, oh, my God, I got to get better. I want to be better. I want to do this. I want to do that. And he's focused. And he loves what he's doing. I mean, you can feel it when you speak to him. And it's been plenty of times he's called me and said, hey, how can I do this? What do I need to do about this in the store? How can I get my VIP to here and there? Because, you know, my store we've been running the charts for VIP. But he really digs down and really focuses on becoming a better memory maker. And as you can see from his numbers right now, he's at the top the year so far. So, hey, shouts out to you, brother.
I love it. Those are three great ones. Frank, Adrian, and Coda. Well done. Emelyne, what about for you?
So I thought about mine, and mine is for Sherry Nettles and Elizabeth Meyer. So Elizabeth is actually very new to our company. New. She's a new marketing intern, and Sherry is on the marketing team. And I just thought about the other day, I was walking through the office, and I saw them in the Marketingville room just organizing all of our Connect t-shirts. And if you don't know, the marketing team orders all of our Word of the Year t-shirts, and they make sure that they're delivered to every store, to every team. And I just saw them with these stacks of t-shirts, and I was like, I'm so appreciative of them for doing that, because it does take time and it's a manual process sometimes. And so I just chatted with them for a minute, and it was a good chat, and I just appreciate them for doing that and making sure we're taken care of with all our swag.
I love it. I think Elizabeth, day 5.
Yeah, I think she's been here
day
since
5.
Monday.
Today
Yeah,
we
she
record.
is
Wow.
fresh.
So we talk about new, but anyone can be shouted out. Mine today is someone near and dear also to Sarah's heart. I got to give a shout out today to my friend James O.
Oh, Jimmy.
James O, there's so much I can say about this man and this human and all he does for Broad River. James is first my friend, but second, he's someone I admire so much.
Very
He
much.
works so hard. He's so diligent. He is smart beyond smart, but he's cool about it. So you really don't know. But James really has supported me both personally and professionally, and I'm so thankful for him. And I just want him to know, and everyone listening, he's such a rock star, and he deserves all the accolades in the world. A true premier star in my book. So as we get ready to close today and you think about Broad River, culture, impact, that ripple effect, any final words on Project Premier?
Man, what can I say? It's awesome. It really is, because like I stated earlier, you never know how it can really touch somebody and how it can really impact somebody's life, not just here at work, but at home, through whatever they got going on personally. This can be a game changer. And this right here can, no matter where you're at, you're getting recognized within the whole company by all your peers. That is a wonderful feeling. It really is. And I'm thankful and honored to be a part of this committee, because like I said, this is us making memories for memory makers. That's wonderful.
Super powerful.
Wonderful.
Very powerful.
I can't follow that up. That's
How do you beat that?
Yes.
Ditto. I just want to say I'm really thankful for you guys and for the rest of our committee that meets monthly, and I just appreciate them, and I'm ecstatic by the growth that we've really seen in Project Premier in our departments, just from having the awareness and having them be on the committee and participate each month. So
I think that was a live shout out to our Project
Yes,
Premier
it was.
committee, near and far. They can't all join us. We can't all fit in this studio, but hopefully we'll bring more on over the next several months. Brian, Sarah, Emelyne, thank you for all you do to furnish life's best memories, to give back to our memory makers. I like to think our company is incredibly special, and it's incredibly special because of the memory makers that make Broad River what it is. So thank you for doing your part. Thank you for celebrating each other and celebrating our company. And with that, thank you for listening, and thank you for joining us for Stories from the River.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.